Shalom, first and foremost, I want to give all the honors, the praises, the glory belongs to my Lord and Savior. His name is Yahweh by Sham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wahava Karkwadash. Honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few brothers and sisters that are listening and learning in hopes of being saved within these last days. I hope you brothers and sisters are doing well. And this lesson is going to be a continuance. I don't know if it's part 3 or part 4 of the narcissist, man. Right? I don't know what I'm going to call this lesson. We're going to put when the narcissist smear campaign fails. So narcissist, right? By now you should know what a narcissist is. A narcissist is someone that's very selfish, right? Not in a good way. Because you could be selfish in a good way in terms of protecting your energy. These people, they're just selfish and they're all about themselves. What's narcissism? It's self-worship, right? Which is ultimately Satanism. So, narcissist, smear campaign fails. Smear campaign. These people, as they get older, they don't get better. They get worse. Smear campaign. What's a smear campaign? When a narcissist ran by the covert narcissist, which is a psychopath, right? Smear campaign. What's a smear campaign? When they're trying to smear your name, throw it through the dirt, basically. Throw your name through the dirt, right? So the narcissist comes with smear campaigns, all right? And these campaigns, why is it done? 9 times out of 10, jealousy. So let's put jealousy here, or envy. Jealousy, because remember they've. What you gotta understand, the psychology of this is they're very emotionally unstable. So you're gonna see things like jealousy. They get these emotions, but because they're not controlled, they don't know how to control them emotions. They act out of character. So jealousy, envy is most of the time the reason for some type of smear campaign. Envy. So what did the scripture say about envy? Let's go straight to it. Let's get straight to it. It's in James. Let me show you what the scriptures say about envy. Right? And I can't believe it. Are you going to be a grown... Bro, you have grown men that are in their 50s and 40s. No lie. In the 50s, 40s. And they're acting like toddlers, basically. Acting like toddlers, bro. Literally, bro. So let's go to this. We're going to go to James. And we're going to get everything out in the scriptures. Check this out. James 4:4. Who is as a wise and understanding among you? Let him show by good conduct that his works are done in meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and self-seeking in your hearts, narcissism, do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from above, but is earthly, sensual, demonic. So, right here is a warning from James saying, listen, envy, self-seeking, that self-validation, you need to be seen. I never knew there were so much people like this in the world. People that do things to be noticed, seen. You know, always need someone around them. Envy, self-seeking, which is pride. This is don't boast against the truth. The wisdom is not true wisdom, descends not from above, is earthly, it's of this demonic. Where you see envy, jealousy, all them things. For where envy and self-seeking exists, here we go. Where it exists. Does this exist in your environment? Huh? That's what you need to ask yourself. We need to ask ourselves. Confusion. So when there's envy, now you're going to start seeing confusion. And the Lord Yahweh is not the author of confusion. So when you see these things, you know, okay, what's that operation? It's demonic. And every evil thing are there. Every. Why? Because out of envy, what happens? That causes sin. Right? But wisdom that is first from above is first pure, peaceable, gentle, willing to yield to full of mercy, good fruits, without partiality. Partiality is if you know someone, you have a group, but you're partial because you know that person, right? Which narcissists seem to do as well. Seem to be very partial and without hypocrisy. Now the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace to those that make peace. So you get this right here, right? So jealousy, envy, that's an open door now, right? To the person that's in that spirit. You know, it's an open door. But this is what happens, isn't it? People they don't want to grow up in their minds, right? They want to be sly, right? So jealousy and envy, that's from the enemy, man. Jealousy, envy, that's an evil work, and this is why the premise of the lesson basically is over time when the smear campaign don't work out of jealousy and envy. It says now every evil work we just read. What's them evil works? Guess what they start practicing? And this is a fact. Guess what the narcissist is into when the smear campaign don't work? Black magic. So we're gonna type in black magic. Now we're gonna clear this up now because yeah, so much people talking about this type of stuff. Black magic. Now what is black magic? Black magic is witchcraft. In the Bible, that would be known as witchcraft. Okay? It's a form of witchcraft. And why is it done? Why do people do it? Most people do it again, got jealousy and envy, and to get up. Say if they don't want to work hard, they'll try to use it as a tactic to get up. It's basically cheating. So people that don't want to put in the hard work, they resort to black magic, which is witchcraft ultimately. And when you read Deuteronomy, what does it say? Hmm? You should not do as the other nations do, right? You shouldn't do no witchcraft. None of those things. None of those things we're supposed to be doing, because the other nations were doing those things before. So, black magic, it's done to either get up in position, manipulate someone's energy field, so you can get a person looking a certain way, or harm someone. Right? It's done for three different reasons. Right? To manipulate you or your environment, because that's what magic's based upon, your outer environment, or to cause some type of harm. Most people do it out of jealousy. Most. And it's negative. So black magic equals negative. It's just negative energies. That's all. Right? It can be done by one, it can be done by two, it can be done by many. It's negative energy. Right? And when you do that type of thing, guess what you do? Well, the people that listen, to even want to delve into that type of thing, you have to be on a low vibration anyway. It's entities, they did them with entities, they're summoning. Right? They're summoning these false idols and so forth, principalities, whatever you want to call them. Right? But it's not really too smart to do that. You know why? Let's go to Galatians, because now, has this worked on people? Yeah, it has worked on people that are not protected, right? But most of the time, magic works on those that believe in it's working. It's like the law of attraction. So if you believe someone's working something on you and you believe it's working, then you're giving power to it. It's negative energy, most of it. It's dark energy. And most people that do this type of stuff, look at their countenance, look at their face. They have very dingy, dark, black countenances, because that's what they're in. It's dark. There's a reason why it's called black, because it's negative. It's low energy, low energy. These are entities that use these people basically that they communicate with. So the narcissist will result to this, right? How do I know? Because I've dealt with this. Still dealing with it. People that they don't learn. So they resort to this type of thing out of jealousy, right? So people practice this negative energy. But we got something. Check this out. Galatians. It's Galatians 6 and 7. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Who do you think you're mocking? For whatever a man sows, he shall also reap. For he who sows to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption. This is a work of the flesh. Black magic is a work of the flesh, not the spirit. But he who sows to the spirit will reap of the spirit everlasting life. And let us not grow weary in well doing. So you see that? So these are low level entities, man, and you're gonna reap what you sow as well. So when you put that out there, when you do that, guess what happens? 9 times out of 10, that person you're doing it to has a good spirit. And you got to be careful who you're doing that type of stuff to anyway. Because you could be doing it to the wrong person, man. Especially if you're doing it to a member of the hopeful elect. That's going to return right back. It always does. I've seen this type of stuff, man. Because brothers, guess what? War skilled. Some of us are very skilled in warfare. I've seen people have come and gone, done this type of thing. And what ends up happening? It always ends up hitting them back. Always. It always ends up hitting them back. These people, they're not too bright, right? Always. Because that energy, what happens when it lands? Well, it has to land where there's negativity. That's why they need you. But listen, fear, intimidation, intimidation. So you got the intimidation here. This is what it feeds off: fear and intimidation, and your own doubt. Listen, if you don't have that, then this thing can't operate. It bounces off you. It bounces off you. And the people that do this, now, just look. The people that have tried this against you, brothers, and you're aware of it, just look at them now. What ends up happening? Right? They end up becoming very unproductive. And this is coming from the same narcissist. So when they do this type of thing, guess what ends up happening? It ends up backfiring. Now, guess what? They're stuck. They can't even move. Because that's what it's black magic, it's negativity. Now you're stuck in negativity now. Because that stuff ain't touching me. And if it does, you may feel a little bit of it, but your spirit will reject it because that's not you. So a lot of this stuff, they try to project this type of stuff. They try to get up in your energy field. Like bloodsuckers, energy field. They try to get into your energy field. All right? This is what they try to do and blend in. It's called binding. What they do, narcissists, they have a thing called binding, where they would try to bind your energy. Bind, here it is. Right? Bind your energy to theirs. This is how you have something called a demonic. See, they're not going to tell you about this type of stuff. Demonic attach. Man, that's why you got to be careful of narcissists, man. That's what you call a demonic attachment. So if you got this highly demonic narcissist and he's doing black magic, he's all full of jealousy, envy, doing black magic, and he's in your energy field, he's trying to bind that. And the Lord ain't going to allow that to happen. Yahushua is not going to allow that to happen, right? Because he protects his own. But if that was to happen, that would be a demonic attachment. You see, attachment. So remember, I told you they seek for supply. These are spiritually dead people with no soul. So that demonic attachment would be supply. Remember, they're hungry for supply. Hungry. Doesn't matter who it is. That's how they stay alive. Like them vampire movies. Demonic attachments, man. These people are out here, bro. This is what they do. When they go out, they're looking for people to attach to. This world is spiritual, so is there anything else? So, yeah, jealousy, envy, black magic, negative, fear, intimidation, energy. They try to get into your energy field and so forth. So, this is what they really, really result to when they don't get their way. Because they've never grown up. You see? This has a lot to do with how you're raised as well. Okay? That sense of entitlement, which goes Jezebel, sense of entitlement. right? That's what it is, sense of entitlement. I'm thinking, is there any more? Kind of want to keep this lesson short. So everything they're doing, guess what? It always goes back to them. Always. They run behind your back. They get on the phone. They talk shit, right? Say how you're doing this and that and that and this and this and that and that and that. But it's all garbage. This is the narcissist, remember. He has a playbook. And when you don't play according to their playbook, they don't like that. Because it exposes their false reality. Thessalonians, right? And God shall send them strong delusions that they should believe a lie. Right? Madness. It's madness. It's demonic entities, bro, that work in these type of people, man. And they attach themselves to people, man. And it doesn't matter who they attach to. They need supply. Running around like a spiritual whore. The narcissist is like a spiritual criminal. A spiritual criminal. Narcissist is a spiritual criminal, man. Spreading all spiritual STDs everywhere. Sicknesses. I've heard accounts, bro. I've heard accounts, and I know what people are talking about. Have you ever been around one? And it's like, ugh. It's like repulsive, man. Ugh. Have you ever had you just feel your hairs on your back stand up? Because they're into some dark stuff. That's why the spirit don't lie. That's why that happens, man. Okay? And the reason why they join groups because the self-dependence, remember? They're not self-dependent. They're not what do you call it again? Codependency. I've told you already, codependent. Well, people can't be by themselves, man. So they look for people. That's why they become, most, not all, they become predators. Predators. Someone that can't be alone. It can turn into that, right? So they look for people. They're predators. Hold on. Of course, but they're predators, man. What else do you want to call it? Hmm? Not all narcissists, but most. Because they need supply. You gotta understand this. That's why it says in what First Peter's 1 and 5, be sober because your enemy, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. A roaring lion, enemy, narcissist, walking about, looking. Can I get new supply today? I need someone's energy. Hmm? I need to see if I can destroy someone. They're out on there. They're on assignments, brothers. Assignments to destroy, bro. You know, they're weak vessels, basically. Their vessels are being used. You understand? Some of them are unaware of what they're actually doing. They're just being used. Right? Narcissism. This is a real thing, by the way. Right? That's self-entitlement. You do it my way and this all that type of thing. This is very real. So I'm gonna shut off here because I don't want to ramble on, but the narcissist, remember, smear campaign. That didn't work. So they're not very rage. You're gonna start seeing rage in everything. You're gonna see desperation at its all-time high level. You're gonna see desperation. They're gonna end up looking silly. Narcissist smear campaign because it didn't work. Remember, they went and told people. They went and told a lie about you, man. They went and ran to people and they came up with some madness and told them this and that. Then you had people watching in the background and it wasn't lining up. That's why I always say, you brothers, just hold your peace, man. Hold your peace. All right? I know about me. If anyone lies on me, I know already. My work speak for itself. So don't really need to back up yourself, do you? People see things over time. Like I've said that before. Okay, this person's keeping to themselves. Them over there, they're acting a bit erratic. They're acting a bit, a bit mad. People are not. You think people are stupid, right? Okay, people are not stupid. Jealousy, all right. Smear campaigns that didn't work. So that was all point. Jealousy, envy. You have evil work. So this is where you start seeing the black magic. They will resort to black magic. Believe this or not, because this is done because they want to change the outcome of the lie. Remember, a lie to make themselves look good. So if they can do black magic and make you look unstable, that's why they do it. To try to make you look unstable. That's why they do it. And to manipulate the energy around you. That's why you have to cleanse, you have to pray. Negative, that's negative energy. Just know it's just negative energies. They're summoning, right? They do most of this at night time. So they'd be in a house somewhere with candles and probably a hex or whatever, and they'd be chanting, right? Burning candles, right? Trying to send energy your way. Most of it backfires. Fear, intimidation, energy filled buying. So they were also, I told you about the neural monitoring thing, right? Oh, with the neural monitoring thing, some of them will engage in that. And remember, your energy field can be connected to the monitoring. So they try to bind their energy to yours, bro. That's some evil stuff in it. They will actually try to do that. But I said your spirit will reject it. These are people that are very, very low. They're very low energy. You see a lot of these people, very low energy. Right? And it says bind. Demon attachment. This is how some people get these unholy, unhealthy, toxic relationships because there's attachments there. Right? So if you come into contact with these people, you better keep keep your boundaries, man. Because they're unhealed. Right? That's why they're doing all these things, because they're unhealed. Because a healed person don't do these things, do they? This people talk about mental. This is mental illness right here. All of this stuff. So they try to get up in your energy field as well. Okay, that's that entitlement, bro. Let me tell you something. Say you're in your house, right? You got strangers trying to get up into your energy field. That's mad. That's fucking psychopathic. But let's keep it cool. Supply. So the monkey that full supply, they need supply. Monkey jumping, right? Monkey jumping from this person to that person. Codependency. That's because of codependency. Most of this starts from childhood. It could have been from rejection, right? Most of the time. Codependency. That's the biggest fear of rejection. They can be by themselves, but not for long. And if they're by themselves for long, remember they get bored very easy. Check this out. You will never see a narcissist sitting still or reading a book. They'll always be doing something. Always. They can't stay still. Right? They'll always be doing something because they're not stable. See, the stability, Isaiah 33:6, it says, wisdom and stability shall be what? Fair. The fear of the Lord. Those things there. So we're supposed to apply these scriptures. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy time. They're codependent. Like a child. A child is codependent, right? Until they get to a certain age. So it was somewhere down the line, something happened, right? That's not for me to explain. But they're codependent. You know you have adults that are codependent, right, on other people. You know that, right? That haven't really grown up and matured. So this has to be dealt with right here. But only the Lord Jehovah can fix this type of thing. They're not independent. That's a lie. They're not. These people always be in groups, always need someone around him. I know because I grew up around this type of thing. Unbeknownst to me, what was really going on. But over now, you're able to see now. Some brothers, we were linked with these type of people. Narcissists, bro. For years. And some of us are still fighting it. Because some of us had them attachments without even knowing. Could have been a good friend you went to high school with. Could have been your family. Because everybody has a narcissist within the family. And the last one, predators. Remember, we went into 1 Peter 5:9. Be sober, because your enemy, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. So they are not all, but if you ever hear about a serial killer, or predator, or an abuser, 9 times out of 10 they're a narcissist, right? Because they have them traits. Remember, they don't like the word no. That's another thing. They hate the word no. You go tell a narcissist no. They don't know how to act. No. I said no. Hmm? How do you know that? When you go to, what's it, Kings, right? Is it Kings? What happened? Ahab was told, no, you're not getting the vineyard. Started see? Then when you say no, they start equal the victim. Now they're the victim. Now they've got 1,000,001 stories to tell now. How they were so dumb by it because someone refused them, but they didn't tell you that. They didn't tell you, well, I was forcing myself. They didn't tell you that, did they? I was forcing myself on someone and they told me no, and once they told me no, I refused. They refused to advance. You know, I started. They're not going to tell you that. So they act like they're victims, professional victims, man. Which is the worst thing you can do, right? Because when you act like a victim now, guess what? They're demonized. Demon. This is how they want you demonized. They are demonized. That turns into demonization, right? They want to turn you into what they are. This is what you gotta understand. These type of people are victimized by the whoever handler or whatever, and the handler will try to get the narcissist to victimize you. You see, there's a saying: "Hurt people, hurt people." Not everybody, but that's the saying, right? That's how they operate. That's how they operate. You gotta understand. This thing's spiritual. Spiritual. They're ran by they let demonic spirits run their bodies. That's yes, narcissist. Right? They can be delivered from it, but most, not all, most don't want to be delivered from it. So they give their body to what? This Jezebel spirit. It's Jezebel, right? It seeks power, control, domination, lies, deception, witchcraft. So I want to shut off here. I could have went on longer with this, but these things here. Now, one might say we're gonna shut off. Hold on just a minute. Let me just get some. Yeah, back to where we're Salakia. So what you're gonna understand? What you're gonna understand is you may be thinking, well, how do you deal with this type of stuff? Well, the first thing I've told you, boundaries. Don't engage, because if you're engaging, then you're engaging with a demonic spirit. Remember, they look for hosts, energy. Oh, I didn't tell you that. Yeah, energy. Oh yeah, we did put energy for us. Their souls, they're about energy. They fill people energetically. These are demons, by the way. They're low level spirits, so they fill you out energetically as well. Okay, they can pick up on energies, right? That's who they know who to target. And the reason why they target empaths, because they know empaths are more loving, giving, and they lack the things that the narcissist has. So the empath has what the narcissist wants, but don't have that because he hasn't done the work. You understand? So the best thing with these type of people, no engagement, right? Unless you see some type of change. Um, Boundaries. Um, Sometimes no contact, because then you're moving your energy supply, which is important. You can't just be around anyone, right? Positivity, because they're sending energies your way, whether they know or not. So you gotta be positive. Good music, high vibrational music, right? What else? Incense. If some of you incense, some of you say sage. I prefer incense. Grounding yourself because they're chaotic. They're very chaotic. Remember, they're very chaotic. That's their ground, bro. Their ground is in chaos. Why? Because they're not regulated. So any peace or clarity, that's a threat to them. If things are too peaceful or things are too good, that's why they always need to look for something to do. You will never see these type of people stay still. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing is you have to stay in a positive and really stay in the scripture. Stay faithful. Your faith overcomes this type of stuff. And stay prayed up and stay positive. And most of the times, whatever they send your way is a projection. Should we also put that? Projection. Last one, project. So most of what they do is just a project. Of how they're feeling. It's nothing to do with you. So don't personalize anything. Right? Projection is like blame. Blame. That's just how they feel. You know, it can put self reflection. Self Reflect. That's how they feel about themselves. Self-reflect. In other words, you bring out certain emotions in them. Self-reflection, which you may not be aware of, by the way. So projection, it doesn't matter. When someone's angry, yeah, they can be angry at you. That's how they feel about themselves. If someone's inadequate, but they want to push inadequacy upon you, that's how they feel about themselves. It's nothing to do with you. Don't personalize it, right? And this is all energy. When they do it, that is witchcraft. But you can't personalize that and take that on because that's not your emotion. That's someone trying to put their emotions on you, onto you, because they never dealt with theirs. You understand? So we're gonna shut off here. I hope this was edifying, and this is what happens when the smear campaign, narcissist smear campaign, got flops. It messes up. Then there was result to black magic and monitoring as well. Monitoring, and they monitor to see if the black magic's working, if it's having any effect. They really stoop to all time. They stoop to it all time long. I'm telling you. I hope this was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom.